In today's video, I'm reviewing / critiquing 15 iOS developer portfolio websites. Now that's a big number, but you're going to get to see a lot of different ideas as well as my thoughts on them. But because it's a big number, we're going to have to go rapid fire, so buckle up. Before we begin, I got to thank today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to get your online presence or portfolio website up and running very quickly. Check out squarespace.com/SeanAllen. A quick disclaimer before we dive in. I'm not a professional portfolio designer. I'm not a hiring manager. I have had to hire a junior iOS developer, so I've had to review these portfolios like for a real reason. But at the end of the day, these reviews are just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. And if it seems like I'm coming off harsh, because I'm doing this rapid fire format, please, it's coming from a good place. I genuinely want all these portfolios to get better, to help these developers, get jobs, get contracts, etc. So please don't take offense. All right, first up, we have Martinczeisler, an award-winning iOS developer. Let's see what these awards are about. But first of all, good use of hero image. You're going to see me talk about in some of these reviews the hero portion, because sometimes I think they can go to waste, and sometimes I think they're good. I think this is a good use of a hero image. Because it's Martin in a professional setting, I think this is a good use of it. But as we scroll down here, here's his About Me. Great stuff. He's an award-winning iOS software engineer, computer science student at Cardiff. So about this award-winning stuff, like I've never heard of One App or IEEMADC. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. I don't know, but I assume a lot of hiring people haven't heard of that either. Seems like a academic thing. This is what I would have led with, Martin, if it were me, right? In addition to winning international mobile app contests, he's also been chosen among the thousands of applicants to be awarded an WWDC scholarship. So as iOS developers, right, we all know WWDC, that's a big deal. So you being an WWDC scholar, that's what I would have led with. So my recommendation, I would lead with that and then put the award-winning stuff below it. But coming up, this is where I think this portfolio really shines. This is one of the favorite ones I reviewed from this little session. And real quick, I do this portfolio reviews once every couple months. So if I didn't get to yours or you want to have your portfolio reviewed, keep an eye out on Twitter. I'll do a call for portfolios then, but I do these every couple months. But anyway, his recent projects, this is where this really, really shines. So we're going to come back to that, but we'll keep scrolling down because it's pretty much the bottom, right? There's the contact. But this is where this portfolio really takes off. And you saw this in the intro. So here's his project here, Volleyly. I don't know why it starts in the middle and scrolls me up. Might want to fix that. But anyway, great hero image here. This looks beautiful. He did work with a designer, so little cheat code there. But in my opinion, that still reflects well on you. I mean, these are great screenshots, a great setting. This looks beautiful. Like I was very impressed by this. So anyway, you got a great screenshot showing off a really good looking app. One thing that we're going to get into though is I can tell that these are the design mockups that are put into these phone models, right? This isn't the real app running. At least I don't know for sure, but I would bet money that's not the real app running. That's the actual screenshot the designer built. So although I love this, I think this is beautiful. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of this portfolio, but I got to give a little critique here and there. One thing, this is a wall of text. I would break this up a little bit. Like you do a good job of letting the text breathe here. A little bit of text, space, a little bit of text, space, and then you get this big wall of text. I would break that up a little bit, a little nitpicky. But again, it still looks great. Good use of negative space. Talks about the award he won. This was the award-winning app of the IEE Mobile App Development Contest. How it works here, we got more screenshots. Again, I think this is the design. I'm going to come back to why I keep talking about that here in a second. But anyway, great. I get to see various different screenshots of the app. It looks great. We even got a promo video. Hopefully this isn't super loud. I won't have any volume on it actually. But anyway, you get a cool promo video. I can kind of skip through it. You can see it's well put together. Again, I don't know how much of this was Martin versus was the designer. That would be a question. So if I was going to interview Martin, first of all, this portfolio would absolutely get him onto the next phase. I would be excited to talk to him. However, one of my questions would be is how much of this was you versus how much of this was your designer, which, he's a developer. I don't expect him to be able to design. But, he talks about the tech. It was using Swift and Xcode, a lot of Google services, right? Google Cloud, Google Places API, Google geocoding. So he tells me the tech he used. That's a big thing I believe in. Tell me what you built. And then down here, this is why I keep saying there's a designer. So that it won a design award and you see the UI UX designer down here. Now, the biggest thing I would ask Martin is what does the real app look like? Like, first of all, when you're the person reviewing these portfolios, like it's very hard to go download everybody's apps, right? Because you may be reviewing like 50 to 100 of these candidates. Like you can't go down all 3 apps every candidate has built. However, this would have been an app I would have loved to have downloaded because back to this whole design thing that I keep talking about. What would really impress me about Martin is if the app he built looks like this design. Because if you've built apps in the past, you know that the designer can come up with an amazing looking design, but the developer perfectly implementing that design, like that's a whole nother story. So if Martin implemented this design to look as good as it does on the screenshots, that's very impressive. So anyway, that's what I would love to talk about. But as far as just the portfolio, this is beautiful. Again, you got the video down here to see more about the app. Nice screenshots. You told me the tech. Told me what the app does. Beautiful image. This is great. If I were you out there, I would be striving for a portfolio like this. This is very impressive. But again, I'm just very curious how much of this was the designer versus Martin. So that would be like my number one question. But overall, great portfolio. All right, moving on to Saifullah Syed. So this would be kind of teetering into that example of like the hero image being like not useful, because like I'm assuming that's not him staring up at the stars, right? So this is kind of almost like, here's my name, and then it's a giant kind of like waste of space, in my opinion, right? Whereas Martin's before, right? If we go back to Martin's, his showed him in a professional setting. You got to feel for like who he was. So this is more of a better use of that rather than this is just a pretty picture with your name. Anyway, my opinion. So, but I do like this website. It's very clean, very minimal. It has a good feel to it, right? You know how you've gone on websites and they feel clunky and feel weird? This just has a very nice, clean feel to it. However, the one thing I don't like, and you'll see this theme, I've done it in all my previous videos, and there's a couple portfolios in this video, these like scales, like these mean nothing. Like, I don't know, Swift, 95%. You know 95% of Swift? Like, wow, good for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's no context behind these numbers. Like, what does that mean? 95% of Swift, or you rate your skills 9.5 out of 10. Like, there's no context there. So I view all these, like, because you see these all the time in like resumes and portfolios. I'm a 7 out of 10. It's meaningless. It tells the person assessing you, it tells them nothing. So like I said, you'll see me talk about that a lot. That's a little pet peeve of mine. But scrolling down, I do like your timeline, like your kind of resume for your experience. I like the way this look. It feels good. I kind of wish there was like maybe one more sentence here of like, not just here, but in every one, of just like more information about what you did at this place. Just because it feels a little light. But again, you don't want to write like a paragraph here in each one. So it's a balance. But that's why I said, I think one more line of information I think would be good. Again, subjective, my opinion. But no, overall, I like the timeline. Like I said, overall, I like the feel of this portfolio. Now, I want to talk about something that could be argued, right? I'm not a fan of, I don't think you have to include every project you've ever done. So for example, for Asif here, I can tell it looks like he has a good design sense, right? Like this Yums feed is like, that design's okay. This app looks nicely designed. You can see more screenshots there. This looks like a nicely designed app. This looks nice, clean, and minimal. And then you got this one that looks like a website from 2004, right? It just feels very out of place because these all look like you have a good design sense, and then there's this one. So I guess my point is, you don't have to include every project. Now, an argument could be made that like this shows my growth. I get that. But if it were me, I'm going to only show like the cream of the crop. Like I don't have to show all the projects I've ever done. Like just show your best work. Because like I said, this app in the lower right really stands out when you put it up against like this app, So anyway, clicking on the details here, what I want to see here is, first of all, another wall of text, like break it up, let it breathe. But this just tells me what the app does. Again, I want to see like the technologies you used, what you did on the app, how you built it. Like as somebody looking to hire you, I don't really care what the app does. Like I want to know how you built it. So anyway, that would be my recommendation for anytime you're giving descriptions about your apps. But overall, I like this portfolio. It looks good. One big thing here is services. What can I do for you? So this, I would put this at the top. Like this is what I want to know, right? You tell me you can make good UI design. You're an iOS developer, good graphic design. I think, and it's all the way at the bottom. Again, if you know anything about websites, you start at the top at 100% of users. By the time you get to the bottom, you're at like 15% of users. So every time you make them scroll, you're losing a percentage of users. So this is like the really good stuff, in my opinion. This, what can I do for you? If this were my portfolio, I would move this up to right under, basically, introduce yourself. I'm an iOS developer, whatever. And then what can I do for you? Bam, bam, bam. And then get into your skills and your projects. I would actually even move your projects up above your resume here, in my opinion, right? Because when people are looking at your portfolio, they want to see, what have you done, right? They don't really care about your entire timeline of your resume, right? So I would move these projects up higher and definitely move this what can I do for you up higher. Again, when you put stuff at the bottom of the website, you're only going to get like 20% of users that are actually going to see it. So put the important stuff at the top. And that's another reason why I'm not a fan of these huge, just a pretty picture hero images at the top, because again, you got to make people scroll, you're going to lose people. But anyway, overall, nicely designed portfolio, but just some improvements that I would make. All right, moving on to MoBean here. Again, this is a great use of the hero, right? Even though it is just his name, but I get what, like 5 or 6 screenshots of projects he's built. So that's actually giving me context. That's showing me something. So again, don't use a random pretty picture or just a colored background. Show me something in the hero. So anyway, I like that. I like the negative space here, how clean it is. It's almost too sparse, right? I think I would like a little bit more information about the app. Also, the text is quite small, as you can see. I would make the text bigger, give me a little bit more information, and then also let me see more screenshots. Like I can't dig into each app. I mean, I could go to the App Store, but don't make people do that. So overall, like I said, I like the cleanliness of it, the negative space. It's very easy to read, and I can focus on these projects. So what was there, like 3 apps there? And then I got to click on more projects. I don't know. Again, you want to make it easy for the user. And then here we are, those same 3 projects. And then here's more projects. I would just put this all on the main page, right? It's super quick to scroll through. It's not like I have to read a book for each one, right? You only give me 1 sentence. So I don't know. I wouldn't hide these behind a more button, in my opinion. I would put those back on the front page. So here we are back on the front page. And then there's your contact sheet. So again, overall, give me a little bit more information. Put all these on one page, just make it easy for the user to just scroll through and see your stuff, but great use of the hero. Up next, we have Cyril Garcia's portfolio here. I actually like this layout. I do kind of wish that I had more information about you. Like down here in the lower right, real small, about the developer, that'll pull up your picture and information. But again, that's small in the lower right. Like I want to know about you, but so I think there should be a little quick about you section at the top, but overall, I like this layout. I know you've been working on this Geek Weather app. Cool screenshots. I wish I could see more. There's a really hard to read button, view in the App Store. So this is what I don't like. Don't make the user go to the App Store page to see more web screenshots or like learn more about the app. I know that kind of may seem like that's what you want to do maybe, but I don't know. Put the information here in the website. Like when I click on this picture, I shouldn't just get like a bigger version of the picture, even though that's cool. But like under here, maybe should be like a little paragraph telling me what the app does and what you worked on, the technologies used. Again, it doesn't have to be a book, but just 3 or 4 sentences. Tell me what this is about. And I think that'd be really, really cool. But as it is right now, you just kind of click on it and you get a bigger picture. So I like the surface level layout of all the cool pictures you use to showcase your work. I wish there was more information, like when I dug in, like when I click on this. Okay, that's a different picture at least. I'll give you that. And it looks like there's arrows I can flip through, but that goes to the next project. But yeah, I would just like more information about each than just a picture. So again, I think you're onto something with this section. Like I would love this as a section, but I would like to see more about you and I would like to learn more about the apps. All right, moving on to Eirene Devonian. So first of all, this is a bit aggressive. Now, of course, I'm on a big iMac and I have my website fully blown up. So this doesn't look too bad when we're like, making it smaller on mobile. It's his face. But again, you got to be careful with these responsive images. Even if you're on a full-blown laptop, like you would still, it's just aggressive. So be careful with this. But aside from that hero, like I think this is good. And again, back to like just website stuff, like set a content width. Like you see this line of text goes way too long. It just makes it harder to read. Like when you have to like pan your head across. I believe like 600 or 800 width is the max width you want to set on your website for your content. So definitely do that. But I like how you give me multiple screenshots right away. Tell me a little bit about the app. I wish there was more vertical spacing to let the portfolio breathe a little bit and show me. Also, maybe some consistency. Like it looks like these are kind of the same screenshots. These are the same, or iPhone models, I should say. And then like these are like 2 bigger ones. I don't know, it just feels off to me. But other than that, I like how I can just scroll and see things. Again, make it easy on the user. Don't hide things behind buttons if you don't have to. Just let me scroll and see your work. So yeah, back to the top. Again, give it more vertical space to breathe. Fix these super long lines. Just give it a max content width. And then I would address this very aggressive hero image. All right, moving on to Bikesh here. First of all, the text is kind of small, but I do like how you let it breathe. Again, you don't do walls of text. I like that. Here's what I was talking about, right? That maximum content width. Again, good stuff there. What I don't like about your portfolio here is give me control over this. Like, let me swipe. Because like, right, if I want to see all the screenshots, like now you're making me just like sit here and wait, right? Okay, cool. Next one. Now I got to see the next one. Okay, you're making me wait. And then if I want to see the next project, all right, got to wait again. Gotta wait. Like you're making it annoying for the user to learn about you. Like either, so two options, right? Either do like what Eirene did here, where you have just all your screenshots, you know, horizontal in a row like that. Or give me control over the swiper so I can just click through it real quick. I prefer having them all in a row so I can just glance at them. Again, you're trying to make it easy for the user because again, this just makes me wait. This is annoying to me, but I do like how you give me a lot of technical stuff here, right? So for example, this was written in Swift 5.0. Payment gateway using PayU and PayPal. You use native URL session, push notification. You're giving me the details of the tech that you use behind it. So as somebody that's looking to hire you, like this is exactly what like they want to see. So make sure you're talking the tech stuff. Up next, we have Jeff Morehouse here. Again, this is an example of kind of a wasted hero image, right? We talked about good ones here back with MoBean. Good use of it. Even Martin, right? Good use of it. Now here with Jeff, like this is what I'm talking about, kind of a waste of space, right? So Jeff, I would either ditch this whole thing entirely or make it more contextual. Again, like here's just a sample idea. But anyway, back to that. Let's scroll down. I'm digging the whole like kind of like computery type font. I like that a lot. Again, back to the maximum content width, I would do that. This kind of spreads across the whole computer screen. So yep, so far so good. I like it. My projects here. Again, so here, this is an example of like not being responsive correctly, right? Because I'm not like on an ultra wide, right? I'm on a normal 27-inch iMac screen, right? Or 27-inch monitors are kind of the norm, right? This is not abnormal. But look, when I have it full screen, which is how, even on a laptop, right? Laptop's gonna be that same ratio. Look at the phones are stretched out, the laptop's stretched. So, and this is why like front-end web development is kind of tricky. You have to account for all like the media queries, all the different screen sizes, make sure things look good on all the different browsers. It's tricky, but anyway, keep that in mind. Like test your portfolio on mobile, iPad, big screens, because this doesn't look great on the big screen, right? This looks like an iPad now, not a phone, right? If I squeeze it down, like that's probably what you were expecting, you know, but here on the big screen, it doesn't look great. So definitely fix those. But yeah, that would be my recommendations here. I think this portfolio will look a lot better if you handled all the various, you know, screen sizes, right? So yeah, I would, because even like on mobile, right, you like get your little picture here and then this giant thing. So I would take some time, Jeff, on your portfolio to just make it look good on multiple devices, because that's actually a big deal for developers, whether you're a front-end developer, mobile developer, like making a product look good on all the various screen sizes we have to deal with. Again, whether that's computer screen sizes or different browsers or all the different phone sizes and shapes, like that's a big part of being a developer. So showing that you are already doing that on your portfolio is a good sign, and showing that you're not doing it on your portfolio may be a bad sign. So Jeff, I would definitely look into fixing that. All right, moving on, we have Jatine here. First of all, I like the negative space, how like, again, everything breathes. My eyes know where to focus. It's easy to kind of see what's going on. Again, we got the 3 images of the app. I can just scan it real quick and see what's going on. I like this one on Jatine's portfolio. Well, let's scroll through this real quick. So he's got the same format, right? You got a little bit what the app does and then the screens. But what I like here is the read story. And he made like a little blog post about all of his apps. And again, maximum content width, you can see it's very hard to read something again when it's so long. So set a maximum content width on your website. But overall, you tell the story, you talk about how the app got rejected, how you overcame that. So I really like this, that I get to know more about the app and how you built it. And then you tell me the tech stack, right? Swift 3, the news API, right? And you tell me what you did with those tech stacks. So I like that you did this little kind of like mini blog post for each project. My one piece of advice for you, Jatine, is I think the most interesting thing on your portfolio is at the bottom. Again, remember, you're going to lose a lot of people before they get to the bottom. So let's get here, right? You talk about your tech stack, your favorite languages, cool. So your current work. For the past 9 to 10 months, I've been working on my own startup called Nuclei. That's super interesting. Put that at the top, right? Nuclei business. And the app looks good, right? This looks like a clean, modern app. learn more. It takes me to the Nuclei website, tells me more about it. Yeah, Jatine, this would be this section, this current work section, and I would maybe give another sentence or two about the startup you're working on and what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and then lead with this. This to me, this was the highlight of your portfolio. But again, I had to scroll all the way down here to even see it. So put this at the top. So taking a break, we've reviewed a couple portfolios and you've seen some consistent issues, right? Talking about the maximum content width, it not being responsive and looking great on all devices. Well, that brings me to today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. Now, I know we're all developers, right? So we have the urge to build and maintain our own website, but unless you're a front-end web developer, that may not be worth your time, right? For example, I'm an iOS developer. I don't want to spend my time learning front-end web development, handling the max content width, making sure it looks good on all browsers and all screen sizes, right? Like that's a huge time sink for me. So that's where Squarespace comes in, right? Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that can help you get this developer portfolio up and running, looking beautiful on all screen sizes very quickly. Squarespace has a ton of beautiful themes that you can choose from to build your portfolio. They also handle all the analytics and SEO for you. Again, as an iOS developer, I want to build apps. I don't really want to build a website, but Squarespace lets me get a website up very quickly to showcase my work. So when you're ready to build that portfolio, head on over to squarespace.com to start your free trial today. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/SeanAllen to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, back to the portfolios. All right, so here we have Jafar Bark. He's chosen to break his up with all these sections on the left. But again, this is kind of an example of maybe a wasted home screen. If you go to the About, it just kind of says the same thing that was on the home screen. I would like to learn more about you rather than the same, little blurb that was on the home screen. And if you scroll down a bit, you can see the services. This is just too short. Again, I would like to learn more about what you do. To me, these are just basic, like, build high quality apps with the best user experience and code quality. Like, I'd hope so. Like, tell me more. Give me more detailed information about what you do. So onto the resume. Again, the skills chart here, like 100% Swift. Like, that's impressive, right? But like this just, I'm being facetious, right? This just tells me nothing. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. I just don't like these at all. I do like the layout of the resume and the work stuff. Again, I would like more information. Like, what did you do at this company? Like, give me a little 2-sentence blurb that tells me what you did. Help me out here. Portfolios here. There's your projects. Again, so you're making me kind of like hover, click, loading, and then screens. Oh, okay. So that's not a good user experience, right? Again, back to like, you're kind of burying the screenshots here. Again, back to Irene's here. Like, I just want to see the screenshots spread out, same thing with Jatine here, right? We just got screens. You make it easy for me to just see all the screens for your app. Don't make me click and wait for a loading screen. So that's what I would fix on this section. But the blogs are good, right? You talk about, or you can share your knowledge and show how you can communicate and portray those ideas. So I do like writing blog posts and sharing that on your portfolios so people can learn that about you. Because again, communication is a valuable skill as a developer. Up next, we have Andrew Lewis. And my biggest critique for Andrews is these don't need to be this big. Like, these are giant app icons. And my website's not like blown up or zoomed in. So giant app icons, like one little line of text. Just could use some design love here. And then don't... Again, I have to click in to like see. So this LCARS calc, right? So it's, again, huge app icon, like, wow. And then these screenshots, huge. Like, this is just a bit much. Although this app looks cool. Like, I like the way this looks. This is good stuff. And a little video for it too. So I love the videos. But what I would do is don't bury it behind this click here, right? Just show the little app icon. And then again, back to Jatine here, like, just put all those screens side by side. 3 or 4 of them, right? You're kind of, again, making me click and then I got to scroll and then they're just huge, right? So yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice. Just make that one page. That way, when I come to andrewlewisdev.com, I just scroll and I can see everything in like 5 seconds, right? Now you're making me dive in and out. It's just not a good user experience. All right, moving on, we have Dheeraj. First of all, this little moon animation, when I was reviewing this the first time, I did this for about like 5 minutes. I was just watching that moon go away. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I got distracted by that. Also, you want to see the most aggressive hamburger menu ever? Bam! Okay, that's a bit much. So anyway, scroll down, starts to scroll here. Okay, here come the projects. Takes a little bit to load in, like I'm scrolling down too far. But so anyway, you show the screen. Again, I would like to see more screens. Like, one screen like we all know, like if you've built an app, sometimes you can have one screen that looks great and then other screens are kind of like, like I want to see more than one screen if I'm reviewing your work. But again, this kind of looks like the layout from my portfolio or my old one. I'm working on my new one. Tell what you did, talk about your role, what you did on the project, and then technologies used. And again, I would like a little more information about like what you actually built. I do like that you're showcasing some designs you built here, because this shows me that like, okay, you can develop and you also have a good eye for design. If you've been following me for a bit, you know that I'm a big fan of developers not being professional designers. Don't take that too far, but at least having a good eye for design and understanding design. So you showing me that you can design stuff, like I think that's a good sign. I like what you did there. And then again, like we just talked about on Jafar's, right? Showing articles about you communicating what you know in Swift, you're willing to share your information. To me, this tells me that you would be like maybe open for training younger developers, being the fact that you like to put out the content and show that. So I like that. That's good here. So overall, good portfolio, Dheeraj. Again, this is kind of a waste of the hero image back to what we talked about. But again, I got too distracted by this moon up here. But overall, this is probably a waste. So moving on, we have Andy here. And now I actually like this one. However, I worry that a lot of users aren't going to click this works button here, which is how you get to the good stuff. So that would be my only worry with this. However, personally, like I like it. I'm a fan. I like how it's like a little business card. You give a couple sentences on what you're all about, and then you can click on works here. And then this is where you get to the good stuff, right? I like the layout of this. Give me nice, big, pretty pictures. It's easy to read. I can scroll down and see your work. We have an Android app and an iPhone 10 mockup. Come on, Andy, what are you doing here? What are you doing? I don't like that. And then we have all these other apps. But again, this looks good. And then what happens when you click on details here? Details, we go into the app. Cool. We learned a little bit about what the app does. I like it. I wish, no, we're talking tech stuff. To integrate the API service, I created a networking layer that was robust enough to handle complex requests. So again, talk the tech. Tell me what you built. I wish these screenshots were a little bigger. Again, you see they're kind of small, hard to see what's going on. So I would make these screenshots like 3 across and big. Just my personal preference. But going back overall, like I said, I like this portfolio overall. I like the little business card on the front. I just worry that, like, again, I worry that a lot of people might not even click this works and they're going to miss out on all the good stuff. But overall, I like this one, except I don't know what's going on here. Android screenshot and an iPhone. Come on. Next up, we have TMI Ratup here. And this is just a pretty simple one. I like it, right? Just paragraph, screenshots. Paragraph, screenshots, right? Very, very simple, right? Straight into the point. I like this. I like this approach here. This is like bordering on a wall of text. Like, again, break it up into 2 paragraphs, let it breathe a little bit, but this is an Android app, so who cares? Kidding. All right. But anyway, short, sweet. I like it. Again, make it easy for the reviewer. All right. On to Umit Gul here. Again, nice little hero picture. Self-taught engineer, love ketchup, terrible at spelling, and I like that. I see what you did there. I like that. So good use of hero, in my opinion. The portfolio, this feels a little cramped, all this text. I don't know, it feels hard to read. Maybe add more vertical spacing or make the text a little smaller. So it just feels cramped and cluttered. I like that you're putting these videos. Here's my recommendation for these videos, though. I don't know what editing software you're using, but you see how you have like a white background, and these black squares, they just look, or this is, I guess, is a orange square here, but they just look out of place and messy. And I can tell you already know how to do it. So, right, this one has an orange background for the video. Why don't you make this video have a white background? Because it's on the white section of your app, it'll look nice and clean. And I would also make the phone bigger for the video. But again, same thing for this one. Give this one the yellow background so it looks clean. You don't have this clunky black square. Again, instead of an orange background here, give it a white background so it looks nice and clean. That would be my suggestion here. I like it when people do this. I like when people share their Instagram. Because again, a lot of times when you're trying to hire somebody, especially if you're on a team, you want to get to know them as a person, and showing the Instagram shows that off. So I'm a fan of this. I totally understand why some people might not be a fan of that, but my personal opinion, I like getting to know the person a bit here on their portfolio. And finally, we have Azar Anwar here. I like this hero, software engineer plus musician, gives me a little extra about him. Like, cool, he plays music too. The reason I think this is a good use of hero is because this doesn't take up my entire screen, right? It takes up a good chunk of it, but that's fine. But I can already start to see the portfolio down here at the bottom. So scroll down to this portfolio. I like it. See, this is what I'm talking about letting the text breathe. It's nice and spaced out. It makes it easier to read, right? This is not a wall of text, so good stuff. I wish the text was a little bit bigger to make it easier to read. You'll see in the yellow section that the text is kind of hard to read. Giant screenshot here. I like that. Well, I kind of like it. I see what you were going for, right? You see how you're kind of cutting off the top and bottom of the screen. You're trying to make it big. Actually, let me see if this is just me. I wonder if yeah, it is just me. So this is how I would like it to look, which it does look like that on not a full screen. So again, back to being careful with your responsive images. When you're on a full like IMAX screen, it kind of doesn't look great. But like I assume this is the look you were going for, which I agree with. This is the look I like. But again, you got to be careful with this responsive stuff. But anyway, we're full screen here. So Socialfly, again, you're telling me about what you did. The UI is entirely programmatic. Swipeable cards are implemented using UI Pan Gesture and UI Property Animator. Good stuff. Tell me about the tech. I love that. But here's what I'm talking about. Like, this is kind of hard to read. I don't know if this is the contrast with the small text, but that's a little bit hard to read. I like that. Again, here, insights and tutorials. I like how you called it pay it forward. Again, back to the willingness to help others, train others by sharing your knowledge. I think that's good to showcase that. And then the about me, again, tell people about you. You like Star Wars, Led Zeppelin, you're a gamer on PlayStation. Let people get to know you a little bit. I think that's very important. And then the typical contact me. So Anwar, good stuff. Like I said, I would just make the text a little bigger, but you do a great job of letting it breathe. You tell me about the tech. I wish I could see more screenshots. Yeah, I just wish I could see more screenshots, and then be careful again with the responsive images here. But overall, good stuff, Anwar. So that was 15 iOS developer portfolios. Hopefully you got some good insights out of that, or maybe some good ideas for your own portfolio. Like I said, I do this every couple of months, so follow me on Twitter and keep an eye out for when I put out a call for portfolios. And hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next video.